Hi guys, today we are covering cash flow statement for class 12. In this video we are covering the basic concept of cash flow statement through my notes, and we will cover a good question of the cash flow statement. So as you all know, there are three operating activity, and that is investing activity, and third is financing activity. So let's start with the operating activity, in which we first calculate net profit before tax and extraordinary item that will be come from working note 1. So first we see working note 1 for net profit before tax and extraordinary item. सो सबसे पहले हम इसमें ऐड करते हैं करंट ईयर का प्रॉफिट, जो कि प्रीवियस ईयर और करंट ईयर को माइनस कर कर भी आता है, एज यू ऑल नो। और एनी ट्रांसफर ड्यूरिंग द ईयर टू द रिजर्व, जो कि कोई भी रिजर्व है, जैसे कि जनरल रिजर्व पिछले साल के मुकाबले इस साल बढ़ रहा है, तो वो है ट्रांसफर टू रिजर्व। एंड एनी प्रोविजन फॉर टैक्स, डेरिव डिविडेंड पेड, डिविडेंड डिक्लेयर ड्यूरिंग द करंट ईयर, and that is extra item, that is overvaluation of opening stock, that might not be covered in class 12, but I have covered for you guys. And undervaluation of closing stock, less overvaluation of closing stock, undervaluation of. After all this calculation, we get our net profit before tax and extraordinary item, and then we do some adjustment for non-cash and non-operating activity, in which first we add depreciation and amortization. Amortization is for goodwill, any goodwill written off during the year, then it will be added here. And any discount on issue of debenture, loss on sale of assets, premium on debenture, that is any premium paid by the company or the issue of debenture, then it will be covered here. Increase in doubtful debt, that is provision for debt. If there is any increase during the current year for the provision of doubtful debts, then it will be added here. Increase in current liability and decrease in current asset, एंड इसी का उल्टा हम लेस करेंगे, इंक्रीज इन करंट एसेट एंड डिक्रीज इन द करंट लाइबिलिटी, एंड डिक्रीज इन द डाउटफुल डेट, दैट विल बी रिवर्स ऑफ दिस. And we also less income like dividend, rent, interest, because that will be covered in the investing activity, that is add rent, interest and dividend received during the year, because this is a not a operating activity, this is a investing activity, so that's why we less from here. And any gain on sale of asset will be covered here, that is less from the operating activity. And at the end we should minus income tax paid, net of refund, that is example is income tax paid 100 and refund was 20, then we will show 80 here, that is net of refund. And after all this calculation, we get our net cash flow from operating activity here, that will be item number 1. And let's move on, item number B, that is investing activity. Here we first add sale of asset, rent, interest and dividend received during the year, and we will minus purchase of asset, जिससे हमें आ जाएगा इन सारी कैलकुलेशन करने के बाद नेट कैश फ्लो फ्रॉम इन्वेस्टिंग एक्टिविटी, that will be there, that is item number B. And item number C will be financing activity, that first we add proceeds from equity share, preference share and any डिवेंचर, उनसे कोई भी हमें कैश जनरेट हो रहा है तो हम वो यहाँ पर कवर करेंगे. और इवन बोरो फ्रॉम लोन, that will also be covered here, and we will less interest paid on these loans, and debenture dividend paid also will be covered here. And any repayment of the loan during the current year will be less from the financing activity. After this calculation, we get our net cash flow from financing activity here, and this is the item number C. After adding A, B, C, that is this balance and this balance will be shown here, and we add opening cash balance here. And After this we get our net cash flow during the current year here. And let's cover some more important concept, that is asset account, accumulated depreciation account, and provision for tax account. That is most important. एसेट अकाउंट, इसमें सबसे पहले हम ओपनिंग बैलेंस अपना ऐड करेंगे और क्लोजिंग बैलेंस हमें गिवन होता ही है, ओपनिंग एंड क्लोजिंग, दैट इज़ फॉर श्योर। एंड ड्यूरिंग द ईयर अगर हमने कोई सेल की एसेट की, उस पर कोई भी डेप्रिसिएशन आया, करंट ईयर में जो भी डेप्रिसिएशन था वो यहाँ पर कवर हो जाएगा। एनी loss on sale of asset, if you have sold the asset and you get the loss, then we'll also add it in operating activity and will show here in the asset account. And if there is a profit on the sale of asset, then it will be less from operating activity. And after this you get the balancing figure of net asset purchase, that will be less from investing. And if company follow the method of accumulated depreciation for the depreciation, then it's the opening balance and the closing balance that will be given in the question, and current year depreciation or maybe this figure will be given in the question. एंड टू एसेट अकाउंट दैट इज़ जो भी हम एसेट सोल्ड कर रहे हैं उसका डेप्रिशिएशन यहाँ पर कवर हो जाएगा टू एसेट के नाम से, एंड दैट विल बी कवर हियर, एंड द स्टेटमेंट इज रिमेन द सेम, that is depreciation will be covered in the working operating activity, that is add in the operating activity. So now we cover provision for the tax. Here is the opening balance and closing balance will be given in the question, and you will be given one of the figure in the question. If you have current year provision as your figure, then it will be added in the working note 1. So let me show you, that is provision for tax, that will be added in the working note 1. If you have this figure, then you can find this figure, income tax paid, and that will be less from the operating activity. Let me show you. That is income tax paid during the current year. If you have this figure, then you can find this figure. If you don't have these amounts, then your opening will be your income tax paid, your closing will be your current year provision. That this is the question that I pick up for you guys. There is a balance sheet of the company where we have surplus of, that is 1 lakh in 22, and 23 is 4 lakh. The difference will be 3 lakh, that will be our current year profit. Let me show you. uh, that is opening minus less, that is 3 lakhs your current year profit. Okay, and let read the question first. There is provision for tax, trade payables, and trade receivables, and fixed asset. Additional information saying that depreciation of 80,000 was provided, that is depreciation for whole fixed asset, and machine costing 1,05,000, in which depreciation was provided 65,000, यानी कि 1,05,000 की हमारी कोई फिक्स एसेट था, उस पर 65,000 का डेप्रिसिएशन था, तो हमारा 40,000 का एसेट बच गया है। आगे देखते हैं क्या इन्फॉर्मेशन है। वो सोल्ड एट अ लॉस ऑफ 8,000, यानी कि 40,000 की कोई भी मशीनरी थी, उसे हमने 8,000 के लॉस पर बेचा है, यानी कि बैलेंसिंग फिगर 32,000 पर हमने इसको सेल किया है। लेट्स सी द वर्किंग ऑफ द सॉल्यूशन। There is the fixed amount, opening balance, closing balance, and bank proceed, that is 40,000 minus 8,000, that is proceeds from the sale of asset, and depreciation for the whole year was 80,000, that will be added in the operating activity. There is the depreciation of 80,000 and the loss of machinery 8,000. Okay, and there is a loss and there is a purchase of asset. Let me show you this, that will be minus from the investing activity. And here is the tax paid during the current year was 30,000. Let's see the working of, and there was a provision for tax was 30,000, that is remain the same. Let me show you the provision for tax, that is the opening balance and the closing balance that are same. So income tax paid during the year was 30,000, that will be less from the operating activity that is there. And the current year provision made during the current year will be your balancing figure, that is also 30,000, that will be added in the working note 1. And here it is provision for tax for the current year, and you get your tax, net profit before tax, and you get the 3,30,000 as your net profit before tax and extraordinary items. You add the depreciation, and the loss on sale of machinery, and after that net cash generated from working capital changes was 4,18,000. And here we add, there was trade payable that was increasing, trade receivable that was also increasing. So I already told you the effect of these items, that is very simple. You get the स्टेप मार्किंग फॉर दिस। सो आपको वो बिल्कुल नहीं छोड़नी एग्ज़ाम में, उसके 1-2 नंबर होते हैं, तो अच्छा है कि आप उसे कवर करें। अगर हमें क्वेश्चन आता भी नहीं है तो हम ये बेसिक चीज़ें हम लिख सकते हैं। सो इंक्रीज इन current asset was 60,000, so we have less from this. And there is was increase in trade payables, that was 1,10,000, we had add less. And income tax paid was less, and we get the operating activity of 4,38,000. Investing activity, sale of machinery 32,000, purchase of machinery 1,87,000, and was the investing activity 1,50,000. And we have covered the question with the question and the basic concepts of the cash flow statement that might help in you exams and for the revision also. So these notes will be provided in my Telegram channel, and the link will be provided in the description, so you can find out there. And if it will be helpful for you, then do subscribe and like and share with your friends. So thank you for watching.